The Georgia Bureau of Investigation arresting Miller County Sheriff Rick Morgan Wednesday, accusing him of sexual battery and violating his oath of office.
I spoke with Byron Cobb, who was the former chief deputy here at the Miller County Sheriff's Office just 10 days ago. Now, he tells me after reporting allegations of sexual misconduct with the sheriff, then he was fired directly from the sheriff. Now, the GBI says the sheriff's arrest stemmed from an incident that happened on a 911 call back on July 26th. Now, Cobb says that incident was reported to him as chief deputy, and he met with the county commissioners and the EMS director to conduct an internal investigation.
Miller County's top lawman has been suspended from office following an executive order issued by the governor, Brian Kemp.
This is a Shields of Shame exclusive.
Well, I am Patricia Smith. Again, here's one of my cards if you'd like that. And this is Director Julie Bradley. So she's going to be sitting in with us. I'm going to work off of a little checklist to make sure that we got everything covered and don't miss any steps and that we answer any questions that you might have, okay? So we're going to take care of a few housekeeping things first. I've already let you know that we are recording. So today is September the 27th, 10:57 a.m. We are here regarding case number 005-231-0822 here at headquarters. And I see that you are here without an attorney, so do you wish to proceed without one?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Awesome.
I don't spend all the money I want to spend on attorneys.
Gotcha. Very pricey. All right, so let's do this. Let me just make sure all of your demographic information is correct. Are you still living at North?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and the last four of your phone, 7707?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and I know your email has got to be up to date, otherwise you wouldn't have received an email from us regarding
rmorgangsa@gmail.com.
Yes. Okay, awesome. So if that should change at any point, please be sure to get on the Post Data Gateway and change that. And if for some reason there's an issue, give me a call. I'll try to help you figure it out. I'm not the most technologically
I'm not either.
great person in the world, but if I can't figure it out, we'll get you someone who can to make sure that your information is up to date, because at the end of all this, council's going to contact you again via mail. And if they don't have the right address, then you're not going to get notified, and we don't want that to happen. So you are probably, in all of your experience, probably already aware about how this process goes, but I just wanted to explain it real quick to you so that we're all on the same page. So anytime an officer is arrested, they're terminated, demoted, resign while under investigation, anything of that nature, Post is notified. And then an investigator looks into the case. They'll present a summary to the Probable Cause Committee. That Probable Cause Committee will vote on a sanction, send you a letter about what that sanction is, and then you have the opportunity to, we're going to use the term loosely, appeal, which is why we're here today, because you've asked for a pre-hearing conference.
Right.
And then at this pre-hearing conference, you'll have the opportunity to present your side of the story, add any additional facts that you feel may have been left out of the original case summary from the investigator. Just present anything to us that you want counsel to know on your behalf. And then I will take that and summarize that. Eventually it's going to make its way to council. They're going to vote and make a final vote, and you're going to get another letter. And that letter is going to tell you what their decision is. And they may deviate from that. They may decide, well, probation is more appropriate than revocation. They may decide classes are appropriate. They can go any number of different directions. Or they may uphold the Probable Causes Committee decision and revoke you. That's going to be up to them. We don't make that decision here in this room.
Right.
And then they'll send you a letter, and if you're not satisfied with that, then you have one other chance to appeal and take it before an administrative law judge in Atlanta, where that's a very formal setting before a judge. Okay? Any questions about the process?
No, ma'am.
All right. So just to be clear that you know why you're here, let's talk a little bit about what got you here. It looks like you were arrested back in August of 2022 and charged with violation of oath of office and sexual battery. You were indicted on both those charges. And you pled guilty to the sexual battery back in October of 2022. The violation.
October the 28th, I believe.
27th, close,
27th.
Pretty close, good memory. And then the violation of oath of office was non-processed. So as a part of your probation, you were asked to resign from your position, correct? Which you did.
Yes.
Okay. And then that kind of led us to coming to this. So your violations are a violation of oath and sexual battery. And when we look at how that equates to violations with posts, and I'll let you have a copy of this if you would like it. So you can kind of look and see. What we're looking at right now are violations of number 7 and number 8, and I'll just give you a minute to look that over in case you have any questions regarding that. Okay. And then when you got your letter in the mail, did they send you a copy of the case summary?
I think so.
Okay, all right. So you have any questions about why you're here?
No.
All right, perfect.
No, I know why I'm here.
Okay. Well, let's do this. Let's just talk about that day. Walk me through it. Try not to leave out any facts, and just tell me your side of the story. Just tell me just what happened.
We received a call at a residence on Phillipsburg Road, and I knew the individual anyway. Small, population of 6,000, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty familiar with everybody in the area. And so we went to this call. Anyway, an EMT, 2 EMTs showed up. It was a medical call, probably a crisis call. Appeared to be a crisis call.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the 2 EMTs got there. Anyway, I was cutting up. 2 of my deputies were there.
Describe cutting up for me.
Okay.
As a Yankee, my version of cutting up might be different
Well,
than yours.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been policing for 30 years. I got a pretty sick sense of humor.
Okay.
I spent 22 years in investigations. So, anyway, they was an EMS girl, EMT. Let me put it that way. Okay, my 2 deputies was over there, and I walked up behind her, and I was 3-4 feet behind her, 2 foot, 3 foot behind her, and I put my hand down like that, and I looked over there at my deputies.
Where was your hand at when you placed it?
Behind her, like I was going to pat her on the butt.
Okay. Did you know her?
Yeah, I had known her for, she had worked at the clerk of court's office for 2 years.
Okay.
For her aunt, I believe it's her aunt, I know her grandmother. Yeah, I had been in court with her numerous times.
Okay.
She had just went to work with EMS.
Okay.
But anyway, it's a sick damn joke. Excuse my language.
You're fine, you're fine.
But anyway, I done that. I walked over there and I said something. To be honest with you, the day my attorney got kind of pissed off with me because I can't remember what happened. That's how minute it was to me. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And anyway, I walked over to my deputies and I said, y'all have you, because I'll stay on them about the body cams.
Okay.
I said, y'all have your body cams on? And I forget what they said. I know they said no. And I said, well, you should have, or something to that extent. Anyway, I walked back over to the girl because in the meantime, I thought about it. Because one of my, it's between them and the Lord, but the EMT, or excuse me, my deputy is married to a woman. She's a woman, okay?
Okay.
And anyway, I walked back over to the girl to tell her what I done. I just leaned over.
The one that you have your hand
Yeah.
here? Okay.
Yeah, I walked over to her and told her, I said, hey, I just want to let you know, yada, yada, yada. And when I did, I'm going to be honest with you. I reached down and I said, hey, and I don't remember. God don't remember. But I touched her on the outside. She, big buddy girl. But I touched her just like that. That's it.
Was it on her butt back here, her thigh, or?
It was, I mean, she got big butt, okay? But anyway, it was on her, I don't know that it was on her butt or a thigh or a side or somewhere.
Okay.
But anyway, well, I was going to the sheriff's conference up there at the lake above Atlanta. What's the name of it?
Lanier.
Yeah, Lake Lanier, thank you. I was going up there. I left on Sunday going up there. Okay. And Monday, all this hit the fan. I think my chief deputy, which he was no longer my chief deputy when I left, had political aspirations. And I had been seeing some things, and I had ignored them because he had 2 young ones, and he had a wife, and he was doing a pretty good job, but I didn't realize things was as critical as they were. Anyway, the female Lawson, which is the lesbian, went to him and said something to him about it. Well, next thing I know, it's just done skyball.
Okay.
Politics.
Help me clarify.
Yes, ma'am.
Lawson is who? Is that one of your deputies?
Yes, ma'am. She's
okay,
an
she was on
investigator. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Three of my deputies I treated like my own youngins. Screwed me. This is about politics. This is what this is about. This ain't got nothing to do with the girl getting her butt touched, because my chief deputy went to her. She didn't go to nobody about this. My chief deputy went to her the following Monday. This happened on Friday, I believe. I had left on Sunday, but my chief deputy went to the EMT on Monday and talked her into filing a complaint. And that's when everything just poof, skyrocketed.
Why do you think he did that? I mean, it must have been hard on you for that to be such a political move. Why do you think, what was he looking for?
I think he was looking to be sheriff and take some shortcuts, you know what I mean? And there's a lot more to this story. I mean, we might as well go back to everything. When I took office, the former sheriff was my ex-police chief. I retired from the city of Colquitt as the assistant chief of police after 25 years. But the city manager, the former police chief, was the sheriff. I run against him. We were always good friends, yada, 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 but politics, I don't know. But anyway, he died the week before the election. I lost by 106 votes. I still got to be the sheriff under a law that was set up in Athens, I believe it was. But and anyway, the city manager there, he was a big Scott Worsley guy. He's a crook, and he's the city manager. His name's Corey Thomas. Well, prior to this happening on Friday, I had gotten, and I hate to skip around, I'm trying to get my thoughts together, but trying to cover everything. Anyway, I had a class on Tuesday before the Friday that this happened. And I had got a phone call from somebody about the city manager. And me and the city manager was in a class on Tuesday. And this is the first time I had got an opportunity. Well, I was talking to him by myself. I said, listen, I said, have you bought any more invisible trash trucks? You know, he was like, well, they wrote a check, they done a wire transfer for $500,000 to some poof hookup. And I asked him about it. And, you know, basically, they was a couple of county commissioners and the city manager and some more folks that I was actually after because they crooks.
Mm-hmm. And they knew it.
Oh,
they
yeah.
Knew you were
oh, yeah, they knew I was after them.
Okay.
So, anyway, and I talked to the GBI and yada, yada, yada. And it just goes nowhere. Nobody's interested in corruption unless it's the sheriff touching some girl on the butt. Anyway, I asked him about that, and he said, oh, he got all nervous and sideways, and like I say, he's got another crook or two working for him too. But $500,000 just disappeared. They sent a wire transfer and yada, yada, yada. Well, that was on Tuesday. Well, you know, he gave me some that the GBI was investigating it, yada, yada, yada. I checked with the GBI. GBI never had a report that it even ever happened, okay? I got a buddy of mine that works sex crimes, and anyway, I got him to check on it. Anyway, on Friday, he called me back that Friday evening. The city manager did, and he told me, he said, you know what, that money's just been put back in our account. I mean, I've worked a pile of frauds. I've got money back twice in 30 years, I think, on those type of frauds. But anyway, he called me and told me the money got put back in the account, and it was all straightened out in 3 days. But anyway, then on Monday, all this kicked off. This is on Tuesday of the week before. Like I say, this is all political bull crap. They wanted me out. They knew if I stayed there 2 more years, I'd be there. I mean, if I completed my term, they knew I'd be there. I got ready to go to the house. I mean, you know, done cost me $20,000 in legal fees just to get to the grand jury. The grand jury, my detective, Lawson, she lied, said I tried to get her to change her testimony, which is the biggest lie there ever was, and I told the grand jury that because the DA asked me about it. And
Why would somebody make that allegation?
because she knew if I come back, she was probably going to be gone. Matter of fact, she had made the statement to several folks, if I come back, she was quitting.
So did you two butt heads prior to this incident?
No, like I say, the chief deputy, my jail administrator, and her, I treated the 3 of them like my youngins, better than anybody else that worked for me, to be honest with you. And they screwed me. That's just all I can say. And here I am. I mean, you know, but it's politics. But the last 3 years of my life has been, well, the last 3.5, ever since I got into politics, has just been crazy. It's been one thing after the next. And the county commissioner thought, I mean, you know, I thought them left and right the whole time I was there. They were just, they didn't understand. They in charge of revenue and roads. They don't run the sheriff's office. Have I answered anything you wanted to know?
Sure.
Or have I just rambled on?
No, sir. We appreciate hearing your side of the story. I think that's important. I've got some questions for you. Unless you have anything you want to add right now.
Not right this minute. Go
All right,
ahead.
let me see.
Maybe my thoughts will trigger
All right.
when you ask me something.
We'll see if this engages you into some conversation here. All right, so that moment. Let's go back to the moment where you kind of did that to the EMS worker, right? So why? Just joking around, or what was
That was it. It was just trying to lighten the mood. You know, I've always been a big cut up, and you know, But there's one thing about it. 30 years, close to 30 years, I've never had a post complaint. I've never hardly had any complaints. I've never been sued until I become the sheriff, and I inherited 2 lawsuits when I walked in the door.
Sure, sure.
But you don't wake up one day when you're 55 years old, or I was 54 at the time, and all of a sudden you're a freaking pervert. You know what I mean? You generally doesn't come to head before then.
When you did that, was everybody just kind of cutting up with you and laughing
The
with
girl was laughing.
you? The one that you did that
Yes. I mean, I barely touched her. That's all I done. And,
to? Was that an accidental touch, or did you just...
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Well, I want you to be honest with
I'm
me.
sorry. That's a deception there, right now. You know I'm lying now. No. I, honest to God, do not remember. I mean, I've had back surgery for the 3rd time since then. I used to be kind of, unsteady. I don't know. I don't know where it was on purpose. I know it was for no sexual gratification. We was just joking. I told the girl what I had done in case something come from it. And that's where it's gone out of control. It's when my chief deputy got involved in it.
You think that would have happened if the girls hadn't had their body-worn camera on?
They didn't have it on.
They didn't?
No.
If they had it on, would that have changed anything, you think?
Probably not. I'd have still done the stupidest. I mean, really. I ain't gonna lie about it. Hell, I'd have probably still done it. I just asked if they got it,
Gotcha.
And there's a bunch of people involved in this. And I know you think I'm some kind of conspiracy nut or what have you, but
I know.
but there was a lot of people involved in this when it got kicked off. There was DAs and judges involved in it. You could tell. The day, and I don't, if I get a little sentimental, forgive me. The day I was indicted, my mama called my wife. It's about 2 o'clock in the morning and got her to carry her to the hospital, and I spent the next 14 days at the hospital with my mama. She died. And me and my mom was real close. Sorry.
It's okay.
But I spent the next 14 days at the hospital with her, and she died, and I was burying her, dealing with the lawyer, and found out I had to have my 3rd back surgery, and all of this was just at one time, And that's part of the reason I went ahead and pled, because I was dealing with mama stuff, and the DA was having a fit for me to plea or make a decision or what have you. It's all screwed up.
So did you feel like you were kind of forced into that plea?
In a way, yes. Well, it was going to cost me $25,000 to $35,000 more to fight to end up with the same thing, or to get rid of a misdemeanor. Misdemeanor ain't worth $25,000 to $35,000 to me. I mean, even based on the principle, especially when I done spent $15,000 or $20,000. And then my mama just died, and I had to deal with all that, and it was just crazy. But go ahead with your questions. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. That's fine. That's not a problem at all. You take your time and express whatever it is you feel like you need to express. So prior to going to the trial and all that, did you talk to the GBI?
No, I never did.
I'm curious as to why you didn't talk to them.
Okay.
Because who knows? Maybe they could have cleared you or something, and it may not have even gone to trial.
hindsight's 20/20. I originally, on the way from Lanier Island, I called a local attorney, and she was going out of town, and I just asked her, I said, listen, I need you to represent me on this. I just don't feel comfortable with this. Something don't seem right. Well, anyway, she referred me to Thomas Duck out of Albany.
Okay.
And he just told me not to talk to the GBO. He does a lot of, I guess, PBA type work or so forth. But I didn't have PBA, so mine come out of my pocket. But he told me not to, you know. Paying him $15,000, I'm gonna listen to him.
Did he tell you why he didn't want you to talk to him?
He just said that he felt like it'd be better if we didn't. And I said, okay, you're an attorney, you know.
Do you wish now that you had?
I wish now that I had done a bunch of things different.
Like what?
To start with, not being cutting up that day. Not being foolish. I mean, there was no intent there. That was the point of the thing. But they seen an opportunity and they took it. And when they did, when you fall in the water and you start bleeding, and there's sharks out there, you got problems, big problems.
So, just, I'm getting that part of your nature and characters, you like to have a good time and joke around and stuff. So, have you ever joked around in this nature before with anybody else you worked at? Like at the courthouse or at the sheriff's office? Did this issue ever come up ever before, ever?
No.
No?
No. No. I mean, now I've always been a hugger and that type of stuff, you know. But no.
So, if I were to go to the courthouse and ask folks there who were employed there at the time you were there, would they tell me the same story?
If they tell the truth, they should. Now there's an incident which got me, which I believe the probate judge is involved in this too. He called the GBI's attention to one day, and I was 6 foot from him. He tried to make it a similar transaction type thing. I told him, 2 of the girls that worked in the clerk of court's office where this girl worked at, I said, y'all get in there, shoot, go. And he tried to make, you know, that a similar transaction because I was doing that. You know, I was 6 foot away from him, you know what I mean? Like I say, this is a big political thing in my county. And it's just, you know, there's probably a dozen folks that want to run things, and they crooked as the day is long.
And you think they just use this incident to
Yes, ma'am.
propel their own agenda?
Yes, ma'am. I do. I know that. Hey, there's no doubt in my mind. That's what happened.
I'm gonna ask you a weird question. Are you generally flirtatious?
No. Not really.
Not really. If I were again to ask people at the courthouse that same question, would they give me the same answer?
Yeah, I think
Think
so.
so?
I think so.
What about Alexis? Would she give me the same answer?
I've known Alexis since she was born. She ain't but 20, I don't even know if the youngin' is 25 years old. I mean, she's just a youngin'.
But what would she say? Do you think?
I've cut up with her all her life.
In a flirtatious way, or in how?
Just cutting up. I mean, I cut up with her at the courthouse quite a bit. Lexi would probably say, yeah, I was.
Yeah, you were what?
Flirtatious.
Okay.
I mean, but I wouldn't flirting per se. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm just me. That's all I can say is I'm just me. But, you know, one thing about it, they didn't talk to any of my employees that worked for me. They talked to the chosen ones that they wanted to talk to, the ones that they set up to talk to. They didn't talk to nobody that worked for me. There's people that work for me that have been working with me for 20-something years.
Do you think that those people would be willing to testify in your behalf as character witnesses?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Did any of those come to the trial?
No. I mean, there wasn't no trial. I pled.
You pled.
I
That's
pled.
right. Excuse me.
I
That's
mean,
right.
you know,
You did. That's right.
$25,000 more or $35,000. I just could not do that.
Right.
I didn't have it, to be honest with you, and I didn't want to borrow it and have to pay it back.
I'm gonna fast forward just a little bit in the filing of this incident. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Cobb.
Okay.
You let him go, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's talk about that.
I let him go because I didn't need a chief deputy anymore. If I manage to keep my certification and I'm ever sheriff again, I won't have a chief deputy until I can find one that I can trust.
Because you know what he's alleged, right? The reason why you let him go?
I've been released from that lawsuit. That lawsuit's been dismissed. I released him because reduction of workforce.
Okay. And it just happened to fall in that
Yeah.
time frame?
Yes, ma'am.
No connection to the actual
ma'am.
filing of this case? Okay.
I'll be honest with you, if I had fired him in December of the year before, when I should have, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. Because he had done got where he was going around and kind of undermining me and doing some things, and he was just getting out of hand.
Gotcha. Did you confide in anybody about this while it was all going on?
I talked to a buddy of mine with the GBI. Well, I wouldn't have done that again, but, you know, I mean, which the kicker to the thing is, I never expected this to go this far. I didn't. I mean, this whole thing just snowballed, just boom. And it was because they wanted it to. The last sheriff that died, the FBI come down there and got a gun from him. And they didn't never charge him. You know what I mean? They come that close. But taking a gun from a convicted felon and not charging a convicted felon, anyway, that ain't got nothing to do with this. But anyway, I've seen a bunch of stuff go on that was way far worse, and there was nothing ever done about it.
So you felt kind of targeted?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I say, there's not a doubt in my mind, this is politics. The reason I'm here right now is politics and being stupid. But no, I have not, you know, regardless of the perfect case and the perfect people that they've, you know, I was an investigator most of my career. I can manipulate a case if I choose to, and I can choose who I want to talk to in that case. But you may be able to exonerate that person. Well, I can choose not to talk to you. You know what I'm saying? Things, and the GBI, that's another story. For 2 years. For 2 damn years. Excuse my language. For 2 damn years, I could not get the GBI to come to my county and work nothing.
That's a tight spot.
Ma'am?
That's a tight spot to be in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You had I'm jumping around a little bit too.
That's fine. I'm out of mind. You just go ahead. I'm fall right in there with you.
You know, talking about people throwing you under the bus and all that, you had mentioned Miss Lawson, Miss Isabella Lawson, was your deputy. Did you confide in her about all of this?
I called and asked her what was going on when I was still at the conference. Well, see, I had looked at it wrong or what have you. I went up on Sunday. I thought the conference, because they generally start on Monday. Well, it didn't start till Tuesday. So anyway, the only time I heard from my chief deputy was Tuesday. He called and said, hey man, that girl you patted on the butt or done whatever you, I can't remember exactly, it's been a year ago. They making a big deal out of it. They making a big deal out of it. I said, okay. That's the last time I heard from him. Till the following Monday. And he wouldn't have worked Monday because he was off Monday and Tuesday, I think. But anyway, yeah. I called and talked to her just to see what was going on.
Did you have multiple conversations with her, or was it just just a random 1 or 2 time thing?
1 or 2 times, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I called her back. This was after I was suspended because her daddy, I used to work with her daddy, and her daddy's blind and done had both legs took off, and I knew they were going to the beach. And I just called to see if they had got to the beach all right. That was after I was suspended.
Yeah.
That's the only 2 conversations I recall having with her.
Did you ever ask her to help you out somehow with regard to the case?
Absolutely not.
Because I know you said something about that they tampering with a witness or something, that they were alleging that. Where did that come from?
Yeah, supposedly, and I don't know what was told to the grand jury or what have you. I just know the DA asked me had I ever contacted her and asked her to change her testimony. And no, I have not done that. Now, I never asked her to change her testimony. I ain't never asked anybody to.
Because it is alleged that you made the statement, and I'm just going to quote it, make it not sound as bad as people have tried to make it sound. Does that sound familiar to you?
I may have said that now in one of the conversations that I had with her. Because when I called her and asked her about it, she was saying, I'm sorry, Sheriff, I know you didn't mean it like, and I made a big deal and yada, 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 yada. And she sounded pretty apologetic about it. I said, well, we'll get through this, don't worry about it. I mean, just put it, tell the truth. But you can make it sound a little bit better, you know what I mean? Not change anything. Just, if you don't think I done it on purpose, tell them I didn't do it on purpose. That's the kind of situation I'm talking about.
Okay. All right, and then after all this came to a head and you pled and all that, then you were, as a condition of your probation, that included your resignation, right? So
Yes.
that wasn't voluntary, that was a condition of
That
your
was a
probation.
condition of my yes.
That was court ordered. I'm gonna ask you one more tough question, then I'll turn it over to Director Bradley in case she has any, but would you be willing to submit to a polygraph regarding this whole incident?
No, I'm not gonna take a polygraph. That's just a rule of life. I'm not gonna take a polygraph.
So that would be with any situation you would not take a polygraph?
No, not taking a polygraph. That's just, I don't believe them
Why not?
because I know they're not accurate. Polygraph depends on the polygraph operator,
Okay, all right,
and I've seen it too many times.
gotcha. All right. Director Bradley, you have anything you'd like to ask or add?
When, the night of the incident, when you were out on this call with,
It was 11:30 it was in the morning.
oh, it was in the morning?
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
When you were out there, is it typical for you to run calls like that?
Yes, ma'am. In a county of 6,000, yes, ma'am.
How many deputies do you have working your
Uh,
county at a time?
At a time,
Yeah, like on that shift, how many deputies were working that day?
3 counting the investigator that was there.
Okay, so how many of your deputies were on that call?
2,
2, and the sheriff?
yes.
And you said it was a crisis call, like a...
Yes, ma'am.
mental health-
And the reason I went is I knew the lady real well. She's an elderly lady, and she's got a daughter that, well, she killed herself since then. But she's got had a daughter that was, she just had issues. And I just went out there to check on that primarily.
Okay. And you have deputies that have issues where turning on their body cameras? Is
Yes,
it a
ma'am.
policy?
Yes, ma'am.
And so when you asked them about their body cameras and they said they weren't on, what did you say?
I don't remember.
Did you tell them to turn them on, or did you say they should be on?
I don't remember.
Is this a problem that happens a lot when you're on calls?
With the body cams, oh yeah, that's a national problem with folks cutting, you know that.
Well, so when you, as the sheriff, are out on a call and you find that your people are not complying with policy, you don't tell them to turn them on?
Yes, ma'am. Generally, as a rule, I stay on them. I tell them, cut your body cam on, cut your body cam on, you know.
Okay. Because what I'm interested in is with memory being the way it is. If you do something all the time the same way, it's hard to remember sometimes. If
Right.
on this particular call you did it that way, because you kind of always do it that way.
Right.
But when you were talking about patting the large lady on the butt, you said you didn't remember how you did it. And this is a very specific incident in your life that has caused you a great deal of strife. And even though it was over a year ago, when you were being asked about all this and all this happened, it was contemporaneous with the patting.
Right.
So it was something that hadn't been that long. It hadn't been that far in the past
Right.
when you were being asked about it back then. So it kind of would have maybe burned that incident a little bit better in your memory,
Right.
because this is a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm wondering if there's more than if there's a likelihood that you tend to pat women on the fannies a lot, and maybe this one just kind of blurred into some of the other ones that you've patted, and it didn't really stand out in your mind as being any kind of special incident because you've done it before.
No, man. I don't go around patting folks on the foot.
So, I mean, when all this occurred and this incident kind of blew up, did you go back and reflect on that evening and try to remember what
Honey,
happened?
I thought about going and being hypnotized just to remember exactly what went on. I mean, of course, I don't mean this disrespectful, but you ain't never been to South Georgia Sheriff, so,
No? You're right.
you ain't got a clue. I can tell you this, I thought I knew what I was doing, you know what I mean? Till I got there. And I said, this is pretty intense here, you know? The buck stops here. So, you just got so much going on. And like I say, that instant, regardless of all the trouble, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what happened that day. I think I accidentally touched her. I may have done it on purpose. It's not like they're making it out to be.
Right.
I'm not a 55-year-old pervert that just got caught, okay?
Well, and I totally understand what you're saying, but I may have done it accidentally, or I may have done it on purpose. Those are two diametrically opposed statements.
That's right.
You either did one, or you did the other one.
I don't know which one I done. I know I was standing there, I was speaking in her ear, and I don't even know for sure that I touched her.
So you were close enough to be speaking in her ear?
Yes. I leaned over her shoulder because the patient's over here, the other EMTs, and I was just talking to her because she had asked me to sign off on a refusal to transport. I signed off on that, you know. After this had already occurred. Her partner was her supervisor. I can't remember how their rank anarchy goes or how hierarchy goes, but anyway, he heard about this 2 weeks later from somebody else. She never reported this to her supervisor. She never reported this to nobody till the chief deputy went to her and said she wanted to file a complaint. Or talked her into filing a complaint.
Do you know why this matter was heard? Do they usually indict misdemeanors in your county?
Only when it's attached to a felony.
And that's my point. The misdemeanor was attached to a felony, and the
That's correct.
felony was the violation of oath of office.
That's correct.
Okay, so when you negotiated your plea, you negotiated the dismissal or the non-pros of the felony and pled guilty to the sexual battery, right? So felonies don't usually cost, $35,000 or whatever it was misdemeanors don't, to defend. It was the attached felony because this was in the course of your lawful duties. And what was the agreement between you and the district attorney to get rid of that felony? Was there any other agreement that's not written down
No.
that was discussed?
No. Well, they wanted me to surrender my post certification, and I said that ain't happening. We'll get a trial, and they dropped that. And that's the only thing else that was discussed that I know of, that was discussed with me. But it was basically you're gonna have to resign as sheriff. There was a statement made to my chief deputy, which is hearsay, to one of my secretaries at the sheriff's office. He went in there, this was like on Monday, this is before I even knew about it, and he was telling her, he said, they'd probably drop all of this if he'll just resign as sheriff. So, I don't know. Like I say, this is all political. You can take it any way you want to. It's political. There's nothing else about it.
I don't think I have anything else.
What are your intentions going forward? Did you want to get back into it? Or?
I don't know whether I will or not. I do want the ability to run for sheriff, and I cannot do that without my post certification. And I'm probably not going to even run for sheriff anymore. the fact of the matter is, I'm trying to, if I can get the board of, I'm trying to get my private investigation license. I'm working on that, but that's a slow process, I can tell you that. But I'm getting down to the point now where I should be pretty close. And that's one reason I just don't want to have the negativity of having my certification revoked for the board to see. The board, which you don't have to be a police officer to be a private investigator, but I mean, I've been a police officer for 30 years. I don't know nothing else. That's all I know. I know how to investigate. I know what I'm doing. I'm good at what I do. And that's basically, you know, right now, I haven't done anything since I resigned. I draw a retirement check from the city, so I'm semi-retired right now.
Okay.
But, you know, I don't like the thought of not being able to do something. Like I say, I've been a police officer for 30 years. And this has really put a bad taste in my mouth, and you can have that back out. Just put a bad taste in my mouth. There's a lot of folks that I just don't trust anymore. I don't trust I don't trust nobody in the Pataula Judicial Circuit. Judges, DAs, nobody.
Why would you want to be a sheriff in a county surrounded by people that you don't trust?
Oh, it's, you know, the only reason the other sheriff beat me by 106 votes is because his family was at the polls begging folks to vote in his memory. But anyway, it's crazy.
But that didn't really answer the question.
I know it don't, and I ain't got no answer for that question. I'm gonna tell you something. Up until this happened, I really loved Miller County and the people there, and I wanted to serve them and save them some money, and you know, I'm tight on budgets and stuff like that, but people in Miller County need some help. My property taxes went up $522 this year. I mean, Miller County's in piss poor shape, but anyway.
How would office of the sheriff be able to influence tax rates?
By the expenditures, outlay, income. Primarily, the way the money is spent at the sheriff's office. And I'm sure you very well know, sheriff's office is pretty much one of the biggest expenditures for most counties. So, you know, not being free with the money and slinging it around like crazy makes a big difference in the budget. But you're right, it don't no more, because hell, they don't nobody care no more. From the bottom to the top. I mean, hell, we ain't even got a president that's got walking around sense anymore. And you don't have to come in, I know you're on the clock, I don't work for no damn body right now. But I tell you, this country's it's in turmoil.
Let me ask you a question, Mr. Morgan. If you were sitting on the side of the table with counsel, presented with your case, what would you think would be a fair sanction? What would you do?
Let's see. It's gonna cost me $150,000 to $200,000. It's been a year. I don't know. I mean, I don't even want probation unless I have to take it to keep my certification. I mean, I feel like I've been punished enough. That's just my thoughts on that.
Okay, well, that's what I was looking for. Where's your thoughts?
You know, that's just my humble opinion.
Okay.
I've suffered enough. Hell, I've lost my whole life, in a sense, you know.
Ms. Bradley, anything else? I'm good.
All right, do you have any questions of us?
No, ma'am. How long? Yes, I do. How long before I know something?
All right, so the next full council is December, if I'm
I'm not gonna
correct.
make December.
Okay, so then it'd be 3 months after that, January,
Yeah.
February.
March.
Sometime around March, the full council will meet again.
Here, let me explain this, okay? Because
Please do.
we have to go through this case and we take it to the Attorney General's office and they review it, all right? And then the Attorney General and I, our representative and I talk about it, talk about council's recommendation, talk about mitigating and aggravating stuff that we've discussed here. And then they make a recommendation to us as to, should the sanction be carried through? Can we win this at OSA? And what they advise us basically to do. And they never tell us what to do. They just tell us the pros and the cons, just like all the other attorneys.
Right.
And we make a decision. Council makes the decision.
Right.
We have to send it back to the council for a final vote.
Right.
Okay? Well, we send over something to the Attorney General, not your case, any case, today. It'll take several weeks to review.
Oh, well, I'm sure. I'm
Right?
sure.
Okay, so then they come back with a recommendation, and based upon what they tell us, we may or may not have to revise the original case summary to go back to the council for their final vote. All right, all of this stuff takes time. The December council meeting, probable cause committee meets for December council meeting sometime in November. All right? So we can't, it's already almost October.
Oh, yeah.
So we can't have this matter, most likely. And I always give the most lengthy estimation of time. It's possible that we could have this ready for December council,
Right.
but it's not likely.
Not like.
So the likely scenario is that it goes in March.
You see, that's what I'm, see, the Board of Private Investigation works the same way.
Right, exactly. So,
Oh, they don't nothing move fast in
No.
this world.
and
Nothing but my money going out.
and because council only meets 4 times a year,
Right.
and they have a large amount of cases that they consider for every meeting, because we have 12 investigators, 3 hearing officers, and 4 auditors that are all turning in cases to be heard by the same board.
Right.
Okay, they have to get those cases a month in advance, and as a matter of fact, I already know that the PCC book for the December council, November PCC has already been given to the members, so that's how come I knew it wasn't gonna make it. Because we had a staff meeting this morning, and they said that the book's already out. Book's already out, which means no new cases can be heard until the January PCC for March council.
Okay.
Okay?
What is, you know, I just had a question for you. What is his, what about Harris? Is he still here?
Mike Ayers, he's the
Mike,
executive director.
okay,
Oh, yeah.
okay.
He's definitely still here.
Okay. You said you were the direct.
I'm the director of operations.
Of this division?
Sorry, yeah,
I got
this
you.
division. He is the director,
Okay,
the
okay,
executive director.
okay.
Yes, sir.
I got you. So there's a bunch of, I asked 2 folks in the parking lot, one of them worked for the city all still. They don't even know y'all up here.
That's, yeah. And we're kind of a quiet organization.
Right.
Unless, you end up in front of us.
Not kidding.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know we exist outside of what they're told the first day, the first hour of mandate that they quickly forget.
Yeah, well, I know y'all exist, that's why I ain't never fool with y'all.
Right. And because you're the sheriff, I mean, you were the sheriff, and so of course you knew more than the average deputy
Oh, yeah.
about our function because you had to report to us and all that kind of stuff, so sure. But the average cop out there, they don't pay too much attention to us until they have to.
Right. I got you. So it'll be next year sometime?
Likely, yes, sir,
Okay.
very likely.
Hope I have my private investigation license before then. Anything else you want to ask?
No, sir. No, sir.
Do you think I'm a nut? No, I'm telling you, this whole thing is just, it's gotten out of hand on. I mean, and likely, more than likely, because I just was married the 25th. That was Monday? Yeah. Wait a minute, what's today?
27.
Wednesday.
Today's Wednesday,
Today's
right?
Wednesday,
27th?
Yeah, so Monday.
Anyway, Monday I was married 26 years. And I'm probably gonna take that 26 years and keep working on it instead of running for sheriff, because it's probably gonna cost me a divorce if I try to run for sheriff again. Because and that's the reason I won't run again, more than likely. I don't never like to say what I ain't gonna do, but more than likely I won't run because of my family. See, my boy works with MCCD. He's been with them 10 or 12 years, and I don't know. It's hard on you when you got political strife like I come into. When I walked in December the 31st at midnight, I walked in there on January 1st of 2021. I had the biggest mess that you've ever seen in your life. I had about 4 or 5 folks that quit. Their guns, their gun belts, all their equipment's piled in the office in there with an unlocked door. This is attached to a jail now. The acting sheriff left at 2 o'clock that day and said he won't be back. I don't know what I was supposed to do. That would have been on him. But it was just it was a mess. I had 2 boxes of keys.
Don't tell me you had to try each one.
Oh yeah. They was mixed. I mean, they was all in there, nothing marked, nothing. It was a mess. It's a challenge. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's the hardest job I ever had in my life, but it's the best job I ever had in my life. Do you understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Being a sheriff it's unexplainable. It is. I worked 62 or 72 days without a day off when I first took office. But they don't nobody think about the 30 years that I spent in that community and dedicated my life to serving that community. I've never worked in law enforcement but 2 places. Colquitt Police Department, Miller County Sheriff's Office. Colquitt Police Department is the city, the seat for Miller County. That's the only place I've ever worked. And it's just disheartening.
Who's the sheriff now?
Jimmy Hope. He was appointed, anyway, Jimmy Hope. He's a retired state trooper. So, anyway.
All right, sir. Thank you for coming up here.
Yes,
11:59?
ma'am. Yes, sir. Well, thank y'all for your time. Sorry.